Hi there! I have my guest today to talk about some limiting belief. So this is Coach Ibeth. She doing coach for corporate and also for life coach, right? Individual.
Yes, that's right.
Yes. So I want to ask you because I'm your friend and I know you've gone through a lot in life already. So I just want to ask you, what is your biggest limiting belief around yourself that can relate to the money as well? Like, what is your limiting belief about yourself that link to money?
So, my limiting belief that I can think of, it's about worthiness, right? Am I worth really anything? And the reason why I think of that and how it's linked to money, I am self-employed, right? And as a coach, as a consultant, as a facilitator, it's my job to provide to my clients proposals. Simple as that. And in those proposals, in addition to me telling them how I'm going to help them achieve the results and how I'm going to work with them, I have to tell them how much it's going to cost them. And that is the part where my limiting belief has kept me in the past. It has put me down and it has kicked me all over the place because, how much is the right price, right? And it's limiting belief because I'll write it down and I'll say, well, it's going to cost this much for the whole program. And there's this little voice that comes in, oh, that's a lot. Are you really going to charge that much? And then that opens the door to another limiting belief of, oh, are you really that good? And then that one comes with friends, and the other friends are like, oh, you're crazy. You can't be thinking that you're really going to be. And then with that comes a whole party that I'm not even aware of, and now the whole thing that goes in my mind is, what are you thinking? Clearly you're not that good. How are they going to pay that much? And then of course when I hear all that, then the next thing that comes to mind is, well, if they do pay it, they're going to expect all this amazing thing, and what if I can't do it? So this one limiting belief about worthiness that leads to money ends up bringing me down completely in more ways than I can think of. And the funny thing is, when I look back in my bank account and when I do my taxes and I see how much money I spent on my development, I realize that many times I spend a large amount of money on training for other trainers. Yes. I pay a lot of money for conferences.
So you're willing to pay other people?
Yeah, because I'm worthy, because I'm important, right? I tell myself, hey, that conference is, X $1,000, but you deserve it. You go and you get that training, and then I'll pay it. But then when it comes from me setting up that fee of what my clients should pay me, my limiting belief stops me, and I'll start saying, oh, they can't pay me that much because I'm not that good. So that's the connection that I have between my self-awareness, my self-doubt, and money.
So your limiting belief is you are not good enough to receive that paycheck from your client. So I'm just wondering, around this area that you think that you are not good enough, when does this concept of you are not good enough come up the first time? Like way back, do you even recognize?
Ooh, that's a good therapy question right there. Let me see. When was the first time? When I got my first job.
Oh.
Right? It was simple. I was a teenager, babysitting. And the lady asked me, oh, well, how much do you charge per hour? And I was like, $10? Because I didn't have $10. So now I'm thinking, how am I going to ask someone to give me money? Right? And of course the lady was like, $10? Here's the kids, here's $10. And I was like, wait, she gave me $10 really quickly. So then the next time it was like, so how much do you charge for babysitting? $15, but it was always, now that thank you for asking, because now that you ask me, I'm thinking it's been since I started, getting paid. And when I think about it, it was repeated. When I started my first job and they asked, how much are you asking for? What's your salary? Minimum wage. But deep inside, I'm like, but I'm worth more than minimum wage. I work really hard. I'm very dedicated. Why?
Okay, so what going on in your mind at that time, even when you were teenagers charging for the babysitting? What going on in your mind at that time is, am I worthy of that $10, right?
Because it's stuff that I didn't have, right? Like, I know some people that have had the blessing or the privilege of coming from a more wealthy family. And for them, it's like, well, of course, it's $20 for my time. But, I didn't grow up having that comfort. So for me, it was like, it felt as if I was asking for something. And it felt as, because I didn't have that money yet, there's a reason why I don't have it. Maybe it's because I'm not worth it. Maybe it's because I don't deserve it. Right?
Right. So how did you do to replace that thinking? Because obviously, as I know you, through life you have been moving up in your performance, in will scale. You have been moving up. So that means you must do something right in replacing that limiting belief of I'm not worth it. So what has you done to help yourself getting out of that mindset?
Well, the first thing that helped me was to realize that when I was having these conversations about money, the only person that was not thinking I was suitable or I deserved the money was me. For example, clearly I was invited to an interview because they thought, we have this money, we want to give this job, we like her, we would give it to her. So they already liked me enough to want to give me the money. Same with clients, right? They came to me, they asked me, clearly they like me enough, they think I'm worth something, or my time is worth something, so they'll pay for it. So I started to realize, okay, well, clearly I'm the only one here with a problem, right? I'm the problem, not them, not what they're thinking. I don't even know what they're thinking, right?
Exactly.
I can only imagine what they're thinking, but I don't know. And then, of course, let's be honest, with the job interviews or even proposals, sometimes you get a no.
Right, the rejection.
Yes, and then you think, oh, I knew it was too much, I shouldn't have asked for that much. And what helped me then was to realize that there was a time when I was in the UK, when I had just moved there, and I wanted to go back to working full time. So I started filling out applications, going to job interviews, and that was painful. My little heart just sunk thinking about it. It was the whole thing of, filling out applications, staying up till 2 a.m, telling my, how I was interested in that job, why I would be good for the job, how it was suitable, sending it out, nothing. And every morning you wake up and unlike the teenagers when you can't wait to look for the text from that boyfriend, you're just looking for the email from the companies that they want to meet you or not. And every time there was either no answer or they invited me to an interview and I was like, yes! And then I would show up and they would say, I'm sorry, we found someone else. That was painful because I always linked it to, I'm not good enough. That's why they don't want to pay me. And one day, my husband said to me, he's an amazing guy, he says, I told him, I've had it. I'm not good enough. I'm never going to find a job here. Nobody wants me. I'm just going to go back to my freelancing thing. That's it. And he said, hey, think about job hunting or sending proposals like shopping for a dress.
Shopping for a dress.
Yes. And I was like, oh, God, now we're going to go shopping for a dress. And he says, no, think about it this way. When you go shopping for a dress, you can see 10 dresses that would fit the occasion. And if you had 10 occasions, you would most likely buy all 10 dresses. But then you have to minimize it and filter everything, and you're looking for one dress for one specific event, for one specific day, for one specific theme. So if you're going to interviews, it's because you are good enough. You have the skills. You are worthy enough that they want to pay you that much. They're just looking for that specific dress. And sometimes you put the dress away, not because you think this is the worst dress ever, but because you were looking for a dress with longer sleeves, and this one has short sleeves.
Yeah.
And when I started thinking about it like that, I was like, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. Right? So for me, it was also about, accepting that I was the one with the problem, first of all.
It's your thinking.
It was my
that.
And the second thing was realizing, stepping back and realizing there's more to it, right? And for me, the last thing that helped me the most was, if I didn't believe that my time was valuable, how could I let people buy into my product or into my service or into my proposals or into my fees?
So how you really overcome that limiting belief of you not good enough? It's just by repressing it by, yes, I'm worthy.
Yeah.
Right? But I know that for many of us, it's not like one day to the next that you can switch your mindset like right away. So what is the little small step that you help yourself shifting that mindset from not good enough to become, yes, I'm worthy of that job, yes, I'm worthy of that payment?
Well, the main thing is that figure will never define what my true value is. Simple as that. I could sell my coaching program to someone that doesn't have a lot of money for $5, or I could sell it to an innovation team and do an innovation coaching for $2,000. I'm still valuable. I'm still worthy. So that figure, those numbers, don't actually define me as a human being, and that is important for me.
So it doesn't matter. You did not tie your worthiness with the dollar value anymore.
And that makes it easier, because if I send out a proposal and I say, this is how much it is, this is how much it is, if the company or the client says, Ibeth, we love it, but our budget only allows us for $1,000, I'll say, okay, let's do it. Because now I know that it's not that they're saying, no, they still want to work with me, and I know I'm a good coach, I know I'm a good facilitator, I know I'm a good speaker, and I'm doing what I like, and I'm doing what I want. So it turned from a struggle of that number defines everything that I am to, no, I know who I am, and I know why I do what I do. And the money part, that I can play with. And sometimes it can go up, and sometimes it can go down. But that doesn't define me as a human being.
So once you have that mindset, you just go out there and do it.
Yeah, it makes it easier, because I'm not attached to it anymore.
Right.
There's more to me than money, definitely, I hope.
Well, I listen to that, I feel liberated and a sense of freedom. Right? And when we don't tie ourselves to something specifically.
And don't get me wrong, it's not that it's not important, it is, and it's important to budget and save and everything else, but that has its own little room, and I have my own little room. And at night, we go to sleep in separate rooms.
I love that.
And in the morning, I wake up, and they wake up, and I bring out the money, and I talk about it, and then, but it's not what defines me.
Exactly. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for your tip. It's just as simple as that. With any limiting belief, just do it.
It's as simple as that after you've identified it and you figure it out. But when you're going through the process, it is challenging.
Right.
But don't give up. That's the best thing. Just keep trying.
Thank you so much, Ibeth. That's valuable and valuable for me too. I know I need to hear it again and again as well, because as all of you, I also have a lot of limiting belief that I see it once and then trying to replace it with some other belief that I want it to be and act on it.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.